What's wrong, Master Bruce?
It never ends.
What never ends?
All the crime. No matter how many bad guys I stop. No matter who I put in jail. The world just keeps producing more criminals.
Oh, I was wondering when you were going to figure that out. Do you want my advice, Master Bruce?
I'll take it. It can't be any worse than what's on the internet.
I think that the best way for you to help people is not as the Batman, but as Bruce Wayne. Be it with Bruce Wayne's money or Bruce Wayne's brain.
That's it. I have to be smarter about how I use my money. There's an election going on right now. I need to see who has the best policies and help fund their campaign. If we elect a president with good policies, then people will have less incentive to commit crimes.
Sounds like you're using your brain already, Master Bruce.
Joe Biden is ranked pretty high in the polls. He must have some good policies, right?
I wouldn't count on it, Master Bruce. Biden is just popular because he was Obama's VP, so people figure he stands the best chance at beating Trump. His policies aren't actually very progressive compared to a lot of the other candidates, though.
Wait, what? I don't understand why a politician would be so high in the polls if they don't have good policies.
I think I just explained it, didn't I?
That's absurd. This is politics. The voters need to make it about who has the best policies, not about who's the most famous. We're just going to keep getting one useless president after another if they keep voting that way.
I agree completely, Master Bruce. Perhaps you should support Bernie Sanders. He's got great policies. Medicare for all. Free college for all. Affordable housing for all.
Yeah, he sounds good.
Oh, really? Did you like that option? Well, if you like Bernie, then you will absolutely love the Asian guy that wants to give everyone $1,000 per month.
What? That's a thing?
Yes, Google Andrew Yang.
He's serious. He's really planning to give everyone $1,000 a month. How's that possible?
Something about new taxes on evil corporations.
You mean he fights bad guys?
Oh, yes, Master Bruce. In more ways than one. You should look into his policy on democracy dollars and getting corruption out of politics. And he wants to phase out nasty, evil private health insurance companies while implementing Medicare for all.
Sweet. Hey, it says here he wants to legalize marijuana.
Yes, that's a pretty common stance amongst the Democrats, really. The only Democratic candidate who actually opposes marijuana legalization is Joe Biden.
What? Biden opposes marijuana legalization?
Yes, unfortunately.
Man, what an asshole. Did he learn nothing from the alcohol prohibition? All drugs should be legalized.
And Mr. Yang agrees with you. Look, there's a YouTube video about it.
We have to stop punishing people for becoming hooked on these drugs. We have to say, look, if you're an addict, we're going to refer you to treatment and not a prison cell. I would decriminalize opiates that are being used for personal use and aren't being distributed. So in addition to decriminalizing marijuana, I would decriminalize opiates for personal use.
That's a big deal. I mean, does that include heroin?
Yes, it does. I mean, at this point, what's happened is you had this OxyContin addiction that has morphed into fentanyl and heroin,
right,
which are frankly more accessible and sometimes less expensive than the OxyContin that started the addiction chain.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Portugal model, what they've done? Because it's very similar to what you're saying. They essentially decriminalized all drug use, including heroin. They have injection sites where people can go and be dosed, but also have access to treatment rather than being thrown in prison. We're not talking about dealers here. We're talking about individual addicts. I mean, is that essentially, is that consistent with what you're talking about here?
Yeah, I was inspired by Portugal's success, where in the wake of this change in approach, they saw a massive reduction in both overdose rates and substance abuse rates. So I'm for safe injection sites, safe consumption sites. And I'm for referring addicts to treatment instead of jail and letting them know this. And I was inspired in part by a high school student in Iowa who said to me, his classmates have fentanyl patches on their arms, they're already addicted, what are we going to do? And I realized that those teenagers would never seek treatment because it's an illegal substance. And that if they got a criminal record, then they would think that their life could be, due for a huge change for the worse.
Man, Yang is just great. Whoa, what's this? Is he crying?
Oh, I definitely recommend watching that video.
My beautiful 4-year-old daughter, Dayla, was struck by a stray bullet March 2011. My son, my daughter's twin brother, witnessed what happened that day. She died 2 days later. Firearms are the second leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the U.S., but 4.6 million American children live in homes with at least one gun that is loaded and unlocked, and hundreds of them gain access to a gun and unintentionally shoot themselves or someone else every year. As president, how would you address unintentional shootings by children?
Thank you for that. Can I give you a hug? Would that be appropriate? I have a 6 and 3-year-old boy. I was imagining. I was imagining it was one of them that got shot and the other saw it. I'm so sorry. The biggest downside of running for president for me has been that I don't get to see my family very much. So I get pictures, I FaceTime, I see pictures of my boys, and just that scene that you described, I'm sorry, it's like very, very affecting. You're right that when there's a gun in the household, you're more likely to have a child get shot or the owner get shot than to kill, let's say, an intruder into the house. Those are just numbers. Those are just the facts. So one of the things we can do, and it's very hard to get into Americans' houses where all of these guns are, but if we can convince Americans that personalized guns are a good idea, then again, if the child gets a hold of the gun, then they can't do anything with it. Then it just becomes a very heavy, expensive prop. And that's something that we can push. One of my proposals is to actually help gun owners upgrade their guns to personalized guns free of charge. Because if we can do that, then again, if you're a gun owner, and gun owners are parents, gun owners understand that, and some of them are concerned. So if you say, hey, we'll upgrade your guns for free, when we can do that, like you can upgrade the guns for free, and that would help make kids safer in our homes. I'm so sorry you had to, and that story should not be possible. I'm so sorry.
Personalizing guns to only fire when the owner pulls the trigger. Wow. This guy has got to be the best. Or is there somebody better?
Not to my knowledge, Master Bruce. Andrew Yang really is the best candidate in the running so far as I can tell.
What about Elizabeth Warren? It says here that she's pretty high in the polls. Isn't it about time we had a female president?
It depends. What do you think is more important? Having a female president? Or finding a way of reducing crime rates?
I take it she's nothing special.
She's better than Biden, but she's got nothing on Bernie or Yang.
Yang it is. I, Batman, the Dark Knight, do hereby join the Yang Gang.
Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang 2020. Yang Gang.